someone could just get that truck sorted out, because. Okay, welcome everybody to this meeting of the Board of Commissioners. I'm substituting preparing for Carlos Triggers, can't be with us in person. We've got an agenda proceeding through. Take a training for absence. Anyone notified in terms of apologies?
Yes, we've got Brian Thompson, Dominic Meager.
Great, thank you. Declarations of interest. Anything to declare other than that already submitted to the organisation? No. Chairperson's announcements. I have one, which I shall read out. We have received pay supplement for staff covered by Green Book conditions covering the period 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025. Payroll will be working hard to implement this as part of the November 2024 pay. Got that, Mayor? That's sufficient. Right. Okay, then there are no further announcements. Moving forward to item 4 on the agenda. We've got the minutes of the Board of Commissioners on the 26th of September and the Pension Board meeting on the 3rd. We take the first one. I wasn't present, so Carl, I think you were, Joe, would you like to, yeah, you're happy with that in terms of accuracy?
Yes, please, yeah, I've read through them and they fact accurate for me. If others could just confirm.
Yeah, anyone disagreeing with that?
No.
No, not with that. There were no actions arising for that covered in this meeting. I think the two actions go forward to December, don't they? Okay, then the pension board meeting. Alice, were you at that?
I was, yes.
Are you happy with the
Yes,
minutes?
yeah.
Everyone content with that?
Yes.
Right, thank you. Moving on then to item 6, reports and decision, the annual improvement plan. Who do we look to for that?
That'd be me.
Where you go?
Okay, brilliant. So thank you, everyone. So this is everything to get a formal decision around publication of our annual improvement plan. In accordance with the requirements of the Local Government Wales Measure 2009, the service must publish an annual improvement plan by the 31st of October each year. The final document is based in a similar style and format to previous years, but is incorporating a fresh design to reflect the transformation and change journey the service is undertaking. It's a very large plan, so I'm not going to go through page by page. But to achieve compliance, the plan is really a two-parter. It provides an overview of the service's performance in the preceding financial year, 2023-24. By performance, we look at the narratives of how the service has progressed against their proposed objectives for the year. We've included outcomes of all the programs, and also we've looked at key performance indicator totals against their respective projections. And this enables the organisation to maintain a focus on continuous improvement and stability. So Wales will look at this report and hopefully present a significant compliance in that area. And the second is including an overview of who we are as a service and strategic level challenges we and our communities face, so certainly our assessment of them. Considering these along with the performance during the previous year and feedback we've received from pre-consultation, it enables the plan to launch a statutory 12-week consultation period that reviews our long-term strategic themes for the service, as well as the objectives of the upcoming financial year to 2025-2026. So the plan is, again, it's halves, look back and then look forward as for the measure. To put for reference, the Word document within the papers you have in front of you was at a point where the content was probably 96-97% there. So we included that in the public domain at that point. And obviously we've sent a design version to commissioners and around this table this week. That was more for look and feel and any questions around the presentation and look and feel and any quality impact issues anyone does have. So what will happen, obviously, if we have approval today, the team is still currently working on any real final amends, hopefully very small amends. The Welsh language version of the plan is now being drafted behind the scenes and being designed based on the English versions. And you'll probably notice as well, there are two versions of the plan. There is a full version, and you'll notice this year it's a very full and thorough version. I think in order to accurately reflect some of the improvements we wanted to make last year, but obviously knowing that the position we're in as a survey and following the culture review, and obviously the yourselves as commissioners coming in and your terms of reference, it almost felt that to be able to give an accurate picture of obviously where we've been and where we are and where we're going. We found the word count did increase significantly, but from the transparency and accountability point of view, it needed to be there. But to supplement this, and this is the second or third time we've done this, it's a quick read version of the plan as well. We hope that it gives members of the public and anyone who wants it a view of coming in and seeing us at a glance, but also we find it really important to have that detail in the background from an accountability point of view. So if everything, obviously I'm happy to take questions on that, but obviously that's the situation we're in. And if everything is okay, by the 31st of October, there will be a button pressed and this will all be published and uploaded. And then we'll start that 12-week statutory consultation.
Great, thank you. So just a couple of comments. First of all, thank you for you and the team for all the work. I mean, we've seen a number of iterations of this. Clearly, a lot of people have been working behind the scenes to get this proofed and amended, and so thank you very much for that. Just, I think the easy read is a really important bit, because I think this is something like 75 pages or so. I don't know if it's going to be general reading for lots of people, but an easy reading one is always a preferable, with summary. So I think that's a really smart move. In terms of how this is used, you've talked about how it's been reported about, and we'll put it on a public-facing internet site.
Yeah, so what does come with this then is there's a comms plan around the consultation that sits behind this. And it talks about obviously on the 31st or the 1st of November that there will be a formal launch, and that would be a big drive internally. So all our internal channels will be mentioning this for the next foreseeable, but obviously our press release and there'll be some paid advertorials out there to try and encourage people to have their say. So the motion of this plan will come from obviously our need to get consultation around some of the objectives
And just on that, then, so maybe looking to, do we monitor the number of clicks on the site on this and what pages people are going to? And historically, do we have much taken?
No, not as much as we would like. We can monitor to a certain extent, and we do have the data from the last 2 years.
So, but this we'd be able to see perhaps whether it's downloaded, whether it's been saved, whether it's people spending time on which pages, which are interested in.
Yeah, I think the comms plan does have an evaluation built into it. And we have looked at previous years. I think we did, one of the reasons with the quick read plan, we did look last and we were able to see which plan was accessed more often. We noticed the quick read plan was obviously accessed by more people than the longer version. I think those results were very significant. The consultation responses we collect as well, we'll be bringing that back to you in a meeting, I think in January or February.
Right.
So we'll know based on people who've engaged with the questionnaire, and any social media post or anything, anywhere digitally we place this, we'll be able to monitor clicks, links and reads. Page by page, I don't think we quite have that level of information available, so we won't be able to see which pages of the plan are well engaged with, but hopefully the consultation feedback, if that's quite rich, we'll get a feeling of what people are really matter to the public.
Maybe something for the future, because it'd be useful to diagnose which bits are really people are interested in. But, we'll leave it from the picture.
Yeah, Chair, thank you so much. To reiterate what the Chair has said, our thanks, because we have seen several iterations of this. We've been engaged with it and involved. So Wayne, thank you to you and the team who have done this a significant piece of work, and it's been very formidable, really, to see the areas covered and the way in which things have changed, as it's gone along, and the advice that you've taken, and the way that it's been built upon. Again, I'd reiterate what Fisher said in terms of the easy read, and I would stress that for all our stuff going forward. There's far too much. The average reading age in this country is 8. Okay, right? That's what Sun newspaper does. 8-year-olds. We know this is going to be read by officers and civil servants, etc., 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 and it needs to be in that format. But in order to get the message across to the public who we serve, we need to ensure that we give it in an acceptable form that they can read. So, I push on that. And a separate question from me: have you thought about areas in this that may cause concern, may be contentious, may be problematic? So have you done a health check and got yourself ready to respond to any problems or issues that may arise from this? Okay, forewarned is forearmed, be prepared, all that kind of stuff, because let's be proactive. Let's not always have to be reactive, because I know, proactivity is about community safety, reactivity is about what firefighters do. Let's look at how we do that. Let's try and build that in, what would be an area of contention? It's how we think about things politically, is this going to work? Well, we hope it will, we hope it's to cover what we've done, but, don't sit back and think the job's finished. Thank you.
Be part of the commons plan. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think that's the big part about the way this plan is launched, particularly on the channels. There are two ways. So as you're looking at social media, we do have a video of the mention as well. It's a nice summary of the plan as well. And what you'll notice is throughout the plan, we obviously talk about people having their say. We advertise our internal inbox. We talk about the complaints on the website. We look at social media, of course, brings with it comments and direct messages. So I think what we'll notice during the 12-week comms plan is, well, we'll bring a summary to yourselves. We'll keep a dynamic eye on what is coming in, and anything that does need an immediate response or a concern that does need to be addressed. If it's a complaint, it'll obviously go through the complaint process formally. They'll be kept in the loop. Any direct message or comment. That's one of the good things about this plan. I think in consultation, the fact that you're going to launch a plan, any comments, feelings, any strong concerns that are raised in the public they'll lend themselves nicely to having a consultation attached to it. So it's not a case of people feeling these things and not having an avenue of raising these concerns. So our stats and risk and our comms team keep an eye on what is coming in, and anything that comes in that is a real concern or a flag will be escalated at that time and a response will be provided.
That's reassuring. Thank you.
Stuart?
Yeah, I think it's certainly in response to Lady Wilcox's point, it's a really good point. I think that as with any document that we would publish it with domain or anything that has an impact, we would do a quality impact assessment. But I think it's wider than that, as you say. It's about an integrated impact assessment, isn't it? About us, fully assessing all of the risks that may be associated with anything that we intend to do as an organisation. So I think in the week that follows or the coming week, we can probably make some progress on considering some of those integrated risks and getting ahead of the curve, as you suggest.
Thank you.
Just picking up on Lady Wilcox's first point about so the easy to read one, is it just less of the same? In which case, is it easier to read or is it just less to read? And it's going to the point about the reading, reading styles, people being different formal reports. Would the next time maybe the easy to read is perhaps formatted in a different way, which makes it easier to read as opposed to just less.
The language used, yes.
Yeah, it does. I'd like to think it's a more succinct and summary version. So we've called it a quick read as opposed to an easy.
The language will still be
similar. It is similar, but it's a little bit more succinct in terms of its content. The only difficulty with this, I know at Welsh Government are looking at the measure and the reporting requirements. These reports for us to do so that they will put as they are the
No, this is
yeah,
the easy to read, the quick read would also be us having two parts of the same thing.
yes.
Sorry.
I think it's really important to be clear about the language we're using. So a quick read is different to an easy read. An easy read would use different language. A quick read is just this report being condensed, isn't it? So let's not be clear about what we're actually doing. Are we doing a quick read or are we doing an easy read? Those are very different approaches to accessibility.
Yeah, and this
So
is,
we're doing a quick read, not doing an easy read, we're doing a quick read. So the question then is, not for this year, but in subsequent years, would we also want to do an easy read? But I think at this stage, it's too late to think about that, but it may be something to consider for next year.
yeah, I agree.
Carl's got his hand up.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see your.
No. I first of all, I think just going back around the evolution of the document, Wayne, I think that kind of continuous engagement, whilst it's probably been painful, I think is definitely come to a better product at the end. So really grateful for you and the team. And I like now that mix of data, that mix of examples that's coming through it. I think that reads really well. I'll go with the quick read rather than the easy read. I think the quick read is really helpful. And certainly I think for a lot of people would kind of pick up that bit as the main. And I think the bits you've pulled out of there as well, I think are the bits that you really want to get home. So yeah, yeah, I don't disagree with the kind of, we could look at the easy read going forward, but I think there's lots of learning out there, and I think it's a really good, strong product. I wish actually in my last world that we'd thought about the quick read version, because we kind of just stuffed out the 150-page job and hoped somebody read it, and funny enough, they didn't.
I suppose can you look at what other brigades do? See, actually, this was really good, or actually, how is that bad? Do you have a sense of, each community is getting an interpretation of the same thing essentially?
Yeah, we do look. We look at certainly the Welsh services. We do look at what they're doing. Obviously, we have meetings with them. I think we're in a similar position with what they do. I think one of the other services have moved on to more of an online dynamic way of doing it interactively, whereas obviously we've maintained the report style of this, really for purposes of having hard copies and printing it off. But there's been communities who don't have access to digital.
So it's online, you can have some video, also digital links to other documents and other things.
You can. I mean, I think what we've put in here is there are links and there are QR codes and things like that
Right.
to take you on the digital version if you'd like to.
Yeah.
We've maintained a reporting style that allows the printing just for that hard copy. I know some of these would be difficult to read that hard copy. Sometimes fall in that bracket myself.
I should keep my eye out when driving around South Wales if anyone's got a copy of there.
Yeah.
Any further questions on this? So I think we've had many goes at this, haven't we? A lot of discussion about it. It's not as if we're not in the full discussion here. I think it's because we've had all those discussions before now. So this is the final iteration. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for that. Okay, then moving on to changed constitution. Danielle.
Thank you. So section 37 of the Local Government Act requires South Wales Fire and Rescue Authority to keep up to date and to publish its constitution. Broadly speaking, the constitution sets out how the authority works, the way in which decisions are made, and how we carry out our functions. So it's one of the roles of the monitoring officer is to ensure that the constitution is kept up to date. And whilst minor amendments can be undertaken outside of the Board of Commissioners meetings, major changes must be formally approved and adopted by commissioners. So the constitution has been updated to reflect the new governance arrangements and delegation of powers following the intervention by Welsh Government and obviously the appointment of commissioners. It explains to members of the public sort of the role of commissioners, different boards and committee meetings that we have, how members of the public can participate in these meetings, specific functions of statutory officers, so the scheme of delegation, how decisions are made, and also includes the relevant financial and procurement rules and standing orders. So there has been an effort to make the constitution an easy to read document, but I fully appreciate that it is very lengthy, comprehensive, and at times probably less easy to read than we would like. We are working on finalising a quick read, but I can take on board the comments that will be made today, and we can try to make an easier read to go with that as well. So looking forward, when Welsh Government issue further directions sort of on future governance arrangements and the removal of commissioners' intervention, the constitution will need a further amendment at that point, and potentially prior to that, some more minor amendments sort of when we look at our values going forward, and obviously the recommitment to the NSCC Core Code of Ethics. For now, the ask is that commissioners note and approve the amended constitution as in the papers.
I think the point you're making is paragraph 2.5, which is this is almost an interim thing, isn't it, for the period of the
Yeah,
for the period of the intervention. Then you revisit whether the formal mechanism of governance is. I guess it's for the four of us to have a view on this. Unless there are any officers that wish to come in. Anyone disagree with the recommendation? You're all happy to approve it?
Yeah, approved.
Yep. Oh, there you go, Carl.
Yeah, no, I'm not disapproving at all. It is a heavy going, Gabby. But the reality is it needs to cover a lot of ground. I'm not sure I'd worry too much at this moment around kind of doing a quick read or an easy read. It is an interim, as Vidge has identified. This does what it needs to do, and then maybe for the next iteration, we kind of look at that easy read, quick read, rather than spending lots of time doing that. But I don't know what the commissioners. Otherwise, I'm really happy to sign it off.
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a temporary arrangement. I don't think, of all of the jobs that need doing at the moment, this is
Yeah.
probably low priority. We
Yeah.
can't keep doing everything. So
Yeah.
this is something that I think a constitution is what it is.
Yes,
So let's just approve this today
Yeah.
and think about more accessible versions when there is more stability.
yeah, it's legal stuff, isn't it? And, we've got to have the legal stuff, the Local Government Act 2000, which is, I know every word of that, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bulky.
Great. So I'm
Yes,
guessing as a lawyer, Gabby, you really like the hard to read version. don't
yes, of course you.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's my favourite.
you? Okay, right, okay, so that's approved.
Approved, yes.
Approved, great, right, thank you. Moving on then, reports for information, item 7.1, page 113. You just want this, right?
Okay, purpose of the report's obviously to provide commissioners with an update on progress. First point to note is we are on track for the launch date in January. So we're currently where we need to be. I'll then go through the whole page, but I just thought I'd pick up some of the points of progress since the last report was made. On the 16th of October, we held a meeting with the alarm receiving companies. Worthwhile meeting, however, they did raise some concerns, and it's in respect to specialised housed, which includes sheltered accommodation, extra care facilities, and independent living buildings. Their concern is around our non-attendance in the daytime, so we've got a little bit of work to do in relation to that. We understand their concerns, and we will probably write a little briefing note in relation to those, which we can present to the commissioners. Also held an online meeting on the 23rd of this month, and that was with Torvine County Borough Council, predominantly the health and safety reps. Concerns were raised around how our change in response may affect their insurance policies, and non-attendance at educational premises, and also their staff training requirements in regards to carrying out say fire alarm investigations. We have, for the time being, directed them to the guidance which has been provided by South Wales Fire and Rescue Service, and which is available on our website. Okay, if I move forward to our next steps. One of our next steps is finalising a radio campaign. The message for that has been written. I've just got to authorise that, and we look to get that out in November. That will go out service-wide. So again, it's educating and informing organisations in regards to the changes that are going to be made from January. Face-to-face meeting is planned for the 20th of November at Companies House, Cardiff. And that is with strategic fire members of all 4 health boards, along with members of the NHS Shared Services Partnership All Wales team. So that is scheduled. And as I alluded to earlier, what we will do with some of these concerns which are coming in, we'll have those probably in a potential change of response application if we feel that the concerns which are coming in are relevant and need to be put forward to the commissioners. And that really concludes the paper, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Anyone, Kirsty?
Thanks, Mike. The issue around sheltered accommodation and extra care facilities, please could you remind me, what's our view with regards to care homes?
We have to go to care homes.
So you will be going to care homes. Okay, so could you explain to me why we would go to care homes, but we would not go under the current policy as proposed, go to extra care facilities?
There's a legislative requirement for us to go to care homes. There isn't a legislative requirement for us to go to extra care facilities, whilst I take your point around the residents being very similar. So I think this is part of the learning of the consultation, which we'll consider in prior to go live in that final sort of categorisations. I think that that's certainly something which we can consider because the impact and implications on the service in terms of resources, I think will be quite minimal. And then we're treating people who are living in similar conditions in very similar ways. So I think that's a bit of learning for us from the consultation over time.
Yeah, so because the legislation that you referred to that would require us to go to care homes, which legislation would that be? Sorry.
It's British standards.
It is British standards. I'd have to look it up.
I wouldn't be able to give you the number off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I think probably the point I'm making is I expect that extra care options is a relatively new concept in social care. So previously we would have had, people either were staying at home or they would go into a care home. Extra care is probably a relatively, as I said, new model of social care that looks to promote independence, but as you say, the clientele potentially are not that dissimilar. And so it seems incongruous to me that we would be doing one, and I suspect it's because the legislation hasn't caught up.
Yeah.
So that's really reassuring that we'll have a look at that again. With regards to
No, please.
with regards to the meeting that you've had with Torbein,
Yes.
they raised the issue of educational facilities.
Yeah.
Are there concerns related to non-response during the day or non-response out of hours and in school holidays?
All of it.
All of it.
Well, I would then, sorry, Chair, I would then, I'm not a mind reader, but if Torvine have raised it, you can bet your bottom dollar the 9 other local authorities will, because they will be discussing it. The leaders will be discussing it. And we've made such a big deal of ensuring that we get a response from them, including a nil response. Knowing how the system works, I would be very surprised if that doesn't come in from the other 9. Because, it's a big bulk of their of their portfolio.
Well, I guess we'll wait and see, and we'll wait to hear the evaluation.
But you expect it, Mike, that's all I'm saying.
Stuart?
Yeah, I just wanted a response to what Lady Wilkins has put. Yeah, fully expect that will be the case.
Yeah.
I think that was the case in places across the country where this has been done
Right.
previously. So it's about that reassurance, isn't it? It's
Yes.
about understanding, what the process will be and making sure that everybody's aware of that. The point that I wanted to pick up on was the comments around insurance and the impact on insurance, which
Yes.
I just wanted to make it clear that it's the responsible person's responsibility to put suitable and sufficient assessment in place and control measures. And any control measure that relies on the response of a local authority fire service isn't a suitable and sufficient control measure. So we'll be able to educate and support people.
So they'd have to do more.
Yes, they'd have to do more themselves.
It's essentially, well, it just. My answer, it's not that they're being asked to do more, they're being asked to do what they're responsible, supposed to be responsible for doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, correct.
Right.
I think that they probably haven't been doing that
Yeah.
up to this point.
Right.
Fire service has been picking up slack.
Yes.
Yeah. So, was that it?
Yes.
Carl?
No, just a point really, Mike. I just think it's reassuring that actually the consultation is pulling out some of these issues, isn't it? Because it allows us either to take it on board, mitigate it, or say, yeah, we understand, but we're not going to. And I think, Stuart, your comments around treating people with the same types of challenges in the right way, so that more ethical approach is absolutely the right thing to do, isn't it, around certain groups? So it feels like we're getting the information we wanted, which is really useful, recognizing some of the issues, which is useful, and then making a good decision on the end of it, which is really helpful. So yeah, really pleased that the actual that the consultation is doing what we asked it to do, which is good.
Just a last point from me. 1.14. It's on, we put it onto the webpage and other channels, including Facebook pictures and everything. I saw the London Pride event and was on LinkedIn. So they had quite a, when you say an animation, that's a video, that's not a cartoon, is it? And, or,
Is it?
Yeah, it's not quite a cartoon, it's a video more.
the videos.
There's some animation within the video. but
Yeah, fine, yeah. It's just that I just used the word animation, which is. But okay, yeah. So I mean, do we know how many other brigades are consulting at the same time? Because I know they said London Pride Brigade around at the moment.
I don't know how many right now. I could get that information.
It's just useful just to see
Yeah,
what
yeah,
other
I'll do
brigades,
that.
what they're consulting on and what their responses are like, and just for some sort of triangulation for us. Okay, any further comment on this particular paper? No? Great, we note it. Thank you very much. Moving on to the forward work programme, this is from notes, it sets out the work programme for the next so months with the papers that are coming to the board of commissioners. And a couple in there doing the work in the minutes of the previous meeting has deferred some. I'm very confident this is accurate and up to date. Stuart?
It is, Chair, but one of the things that jumps out at me, I suppose, is that December looks like a really busy meeting. And there may well be an opportunity, because February looked a bit later, to consider prioritisation, particularly with the workloads of staff and departments at the moment. They're doing around HMIC, FRS and so on. Maybe an opportunity for some of the things that haven't got a statutory requirement to be reported in the December meeting to move into the February one. And then the only other thing, or two more things in relation to the forward work plan. Clearly, you're going to want to probably have an update in relation to the final report of HMIC FRS in the February meeting. That's not on the plan. And then the last thing is the February update in relation to almost fire signal. The narrative reports on it as if it's about to happen. It will have already been up and running in January. So therefore, it needs to reflect the fact that it's an update in relation to the impact that it's had so far.
Okay, they're all fair points. I think, bear in mind, this is good. When you choose first, which is December, we want it to be, like a welcome to the world, and here it is. So yeah, if we can sort of ameliorate some of that and make it a bit more balanced.
Yes. Yeah, just to reiterate the point, March 2025, present the proposal to consideration of change to the response. You're quite right to do it. That's my question. Is it the intention of that meeting to bring back how the policy has been implemented for 2 months?
It's also similar in the February one as well.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So,
It's got somebody's copy and pasting. Somebody's copying and pasting, I suspect.
we'll address that.
Thank you.
Okay, any further comments on that? No, so we note that forward work programme. I haven't been informed of any additional comments to make in terms of what happens with the Belgium. Is there anything? No, nothing. Therefore, is there anything else, Cassie?
Yep.
Therefore, closed meeting. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending.
Midge?
Sorry. Oh, I didn't see that.
Sorry, yeah, and obviously, Stuart, and I know there'll be plenty of these, but I appreciate this will be your last commissioners board meeting before you return to North Wales. So I think it's on. I know, Vice Chair Jay, but as a chair, thank you for everything you've done, and really grateful for all the support. So yeah, thank you very much.
Well, that was my omission. I should have picked that up. I think.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay, yes, all the best. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This meeting closed.
Take care, all. Thank you.